I'm from China and I'm representing the Economy Observer.
I'm with the newspaper Clarín in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
I'm representing Singapore Business Review.
I'm coming from Israel, representing Globes Daily.
I'm from Baku, Azerbaijan, the first news agency.
I'm here from New York City, covering any kind of transportation innovation.
I'm working for the Korea Herald. It's an English daily based in Seoul, Korea.
From Turkey and Haber Revizyon National Media.
Well, I'm Gustavo Orellana. I'm journalist from Pulso, a financial newspaper in Chile.
My name is Lisa Stein. I work for the Mail and Guardian in South Africa.
Grupo Reforma newspaper in Mexico.
Turkey is like a bridge between Asia and Europe. That's why I think it's very critical to have a word here as the country, and me as a journalist, just projecting what's going on here is a responsibility.
There was a minister's roundtable session. It's about investing in high-speed rail, and is one of the hot topic in Korea. So our Prime Minister also attended the meeting.
Well, as a recent member of the OECD, Chile is very interested to know the reality of another members of the OECD. We are now building new highways or airports or subway lines, and we are very interested in how to do the best practice to do that.
Well, I've had the most wonderful experience so far. The highlights have really been interviewing the Secretary General from the OECD and having access to really top leaders in transport.
Well, I believe there is a lot of information available here that where I can get some information for the market that I write for. And indeed, it's really been a tremendous experience going here and attending the summit. It's amazing how the International Transport Forum was able to gather all the ministers from all parts of the world.
Because transport sphere is one of the important developing spheres in Azerbaijan now. Azerbaijan is, making big steps in that, and we have great work in infrastructure development and transport sphere, not only inside the country, but big regional projects as well.
Well, actually, we are very much involved in some central projects which are focusing on finance. The question of finance is extremely relevant to the fulfillment of such projects, which can change the life of the citizens of Israel.
Actually, I'm covering most of PE and VC area, which means I'm really very much interested what the fund is going and the trend of the financial situation. So I'm more interested in the transportation, so I'm here.
Well, I think that we could find like several stories here. What is happening in the cities in terms of mobility and transportation, and if the authorities and also the investors are giving the better circumstances in order to provide transportation better conditions for the people in the cities.
I think it will be a very interesting series of my articles. For example, the experiments I learned from European countries, from Japan, and what's the experience can be used in China. I think there will be a very long and a very interesting series about my article.
I'll be doing I'll try to do a feature story, how globally, all the countries are facing difficulties in transport, and with a special context to India as well.
Argentina had a major crisis about 10 years ago, and now we are seeing replicas of that crisis in many parts in Europe with high unemployment, devaluation pressures, and also pressures on the infrastructure, right? Like you're not questioning the reasonability of decisions like high-speed trains, for instance, in many countries, which are losing money.
We had the opportunity to talk to several people who engaged with the regional issues. That was the representative from our delegation, from Russian Federation, as well as representatives from the international funding institutions, World Bank, European Investment Bank, and so on.
First, during today, something affected me very much, which was during the ministers' roundtable, the lobbying that went in between the ministers, the silent lobbying, the notes passing on from one minister to the other while all the conference was also going on, was quite effective for me.
So one story I'm looking into is about low emission zones, or in German, forgive that I don't know the language, Umweltzones, where they restrict the kind of car that can go into the city centers based on their emission standards. So if you pollute a lot, you can't drive downtown. This is similar to a couple of the policies that we've tried in the US. Some have passed, some have not. So I'm seeing how it works here in Germany, and I'm going to do a story on, can this policy work well in the US?
We have an electronic tolling system, which is very controversial. Tomorrow, in fact, people are taking to the streets to block the highway, and it's been in legal battles for years. So that's something we write about regularly, and very interesting to see the policymakers, people of influence, great minds here talking about similar projects overseas and how you should go about implementing something like it.